Today, I want to talk a little bit. First of all, I left grades to your first essay. Please check Canvas. Please check my feedback. I want to dedicate, if necessary, this week a day to answer any questions that you have about those comments that I left, about the feedback, anything related to your first essay. It's very important that you understand the feedback about some of the topics, right, that we've been looking at over the last few weeks, because those topics will probably come up again. Those errors, that long list that we worked on last week, probably will come up again for our second essay for Unit 2. So take a look at the feedback. I'll probably dedicate one day this week, maybe Thursday, maybe tomorrow, to address any questions or doubts that you have about those errors. Okay. Today, what I'd like to do, I hope that all of you are reading a lot, trying to find some good information about your next topic for Unit 2. Again, the difference for this unit is we need to be able to cite, we need to bring in outside sources that we come across. Today, what I want to talk about is plagiarism, because plagiarism and citing APA, they all kind of go together, and I want to clarify any doubts that you have about what plagiarism is and how we can avoid plagiarism. So today I want to talk about some topics that we're looking at in a page in Canvas. All of you have access to the same page, okay? So you can look at it on your device, or just look at it here on the big screen. But the first thing here is plagiarism. Right. Can you give me an example? I mean, all right. So let me clarify a few things. So the question is, like, what if we accidentally copy someone else's idea? Okay. So let me clarify a few things. What we're really talking about is the expression of an idea more so than the idea itself. So think about that for a second. We're talking about stealing the way somebody expresses an idea, not necessarily the idea itself. Christopher Columbus discovered America. Now, that's not my original idea, right? It's coming from an outside source. I didn't come up with that on my own. But do I need to cite that? That Christopher Columbus discovered America? Or he discovered that the world was round? Do I have to cite that? Why? Do I need to cite that? Knowing what here's the more common problem. You read something, you're reading an article, and you read it, and you read it, and you read it so much, it's like ingrained. Writing and paraphrasing, but you're still taking someone else's idea, and in that case, you still need to cite it. So there's a couple of strategies here that I would suggest that you do when you are reading and you're trying to find information to write about. First, read it, right? Understand it, and then if you're going to use it, remember the meal plan. All of our citations are going to be what kind of sentence? All of our citations, we'll talk here in a few minutes about citations, but when you reference somebody else's idea, which sentence, what kind of sentence is this going to be part of? Main idea, evidence, analyze, or link? Evidence. All right, so our evidence are going to be our citations. Our evidence are there to support the main idea. Is this main idea going to be an original idea, or is it going to come from an outside source that needs a citation? It could be an original idea. It's going to be a claim that's arguable, just like what we did last unit. So citations, we're going to have citations where you're going to cite either direct quote or paraphrase. We're going to paraphrase for the main part. All right, we'll talk about that here in a second, but we're going to have citations. The analysis, you're just talking about the evidence in terms of the main idea. So these are the general ideas, your comments, your interpretation. ¿Qué significa? ¿Cómo está conectado esta evidencia a la idea principal de cada párrafo? Okay, does that make sense so far? All right, so it's the expression of the idea, right? We have to be careful that it's more about not the idea itself, but the expression of the idea. Okay, does that make sense so far? All right, so it's the expression of the idea, right? We have to be careful. Now, if we look at the type, what is considered plagiarism? Turning in someone else's work, your own. Okay, so if you turn in your partner's work, if your partner wrote something out for you and you turned it in, that would be considered plagiarism. Right? So that's a bad thing. We don't want to do that. Copying words and ideas from someone else without giving credit. So if we copy word for word someone else's ideas, that's talk here about two types of citations. Two types of citations. Here in a second. So quotation marks. We can have direct quotes, direct quotations, direct quotes, direct quotations, and we can paraphrase. ¿Qué significa paraphrase? All right, so you're going to say someone else's ideas, but you're going to put them in your own words. We need a citation. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. Giving incorrect information about the source. All right, we have to make sure we have correct source information. Changing words by copying the sentence structure without giving credit. Copying so many words and ideas from the source that it makes up the majority. Ooh, this one is really important. This last one. And all of this, I want to make sure it's clear for later semesters when you guys are writing essays and other classes. Este pica a todos los de la carrera. Hay dicho, tenemos una política de plagio que ahorita voy a expresar, pero es muy importante que tengamos este. Copying so many words or ideas from the source that it makes up the majority of your work. Whether you give credit or not. Let's say you give credit just perfectly, but most of your text comes from an outside source. It's plagiarism. So I go back to our meal plan. Which kind of sentences, which type of sentences are going to be citations? Evidence. Main original idea. This is coming from you, original idea, and coming from you, the linking sentence. Most of this paragraph should be your own idea. We're only using citations for the evidence, the examples, the facts, the details. That's what we're using the citations for. All right, so be careful not to cite too much. Now, I'm not going to go through all this, but in this page, this is the Ley Federal de Derecho de Autor, la Ley Orgánica de la Universidad Autónoma de Aguascalientes, donde está mencionando plagio. Y aquí los tipos de plagio. Tampoco voy a ver todo pero vamos a hablar todo de all the semester. We're going to be talking about all these different types as needed. The language, bless you.
Thank you.
the language department here in this university has a plagiarism policy. So I'm going to open up this. I would make sure you have this, that you refer and look at this, be aware of this. Because here's the thing, see, if you guys are plagiarizing, the policy is that you're going to get a 0 for that work, that piece of work. Some cases you can get a 0 for the whole class. So we have to be really careful about learning APA so we don't accidentally plagiarize. Because accidental plagiarism is the same as intentional plagiarism. All right, so we have to be really careful there to make sure that we don't have problems with plagiarism. So this is our policy here at the university for plagiarism. Again, a lot of what's in this policy is what I've already showed you in the page, but this is just the official document. Okay, so you get most of this information here is found in this. APA, we're going to look at APA today, and our articles. So we're going to talk today about articles and how we can cite articles and how we can reference articles. So for APA, we have these words citation and reference. What's the difference between a citation and a reference? What's a citation and what's a reference?
Citation will use the tool to give the credit to an author's idea. Maybe when you use a reference, you are trying to say you got that information.
Okay. Anybody? All right. Anybody else?
The citation meaning are specifically the words, and the reference are the phrase. I don't know.
Okay. So the citation is going to be occurring in the text. It's going to be in the paragraphs. So for our case, we're writing 5-paragraph essays. Where might we find a citation? In the introduction paragraph. Todos menos. Right? So we're going to find citations in the introduction paragraph. We might find it in the first body paragraph. We might find it in the second body paragraph. We'll find them in the third body paragraph. But we're not going to find them in the conclusion because we won't use citations in the conclusion. Citations use parentheses. Parentheses. Okay? And we'll look at it. References. Where do references occur in your essay? At the very end. At the very end. Okay? At the very end. So, let's take a look at an example. In the reference, we're going to start with the reference, then we'll do the citation. Alright? So, when you write a reference, how do you begin a reference? Has anybody seen a reference? How would you typically begin with a reference? The name of the author. So here, you begin with the author's last name. So in my case, let's say that I wrote something, start with my last name, Stewart, comma, first initial, Period. Creo que vale la pena anotar lo que estamos hablando. Porque hay mucho, lo que es difícil con APA son los detalles. No es difícil, pero hay muchos detalles como punctuation, espacio, así como. Hoy nada más vamos a ver artículos porque nada más vamos a trabajar en los artículos ahorita. Sí, después lo vemos artículos. About thus far. Yes.
For example, if I want to talk about leisure and maybe I have an idea of leisure.
Yes.
And then while reading, I can find the same idea but in other words, but have this that case.
Okay, you have an idea about leisure. Okay, and then you come across someone else's idea about leisure?
Well,
Or come?
for example, I don't know, maybe I can say, leisure helps students to learn quickly and in a better way. And then, while reading, because I can find in those articles, and then what do I have to do?
All right.
in cases?
The thing is, when you say leisure, increasing leisure helps students learn English language. Okay, that's my idea. When you look up articles, you're not going to find that idea. You're going to find a very specific conclusion about leisure. Watching TV for 3 hours a week increases student score 20%. Now you use that, well, in the evidence sentence to support your claim. It's related, but it's not the same idea. You're talking about a general idea. There's not going to be any study that shares that general idea because that idea is a general idea. See, man? So you want to support that general claim of leisure helps learning. Then you find like a detail. I don't know. Yoga, 20 hours of yoga a week. Okay, that's a detail. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
All right. So, last name, comma. Let's say that we have 3 authors. Stewart, comma, space, first initial, period, comma, because we're going to list 3 now. And we know when we have 3 of anything, what do we need? Commas. I like apples, comma, oranges, comma, and bananas. I need those commas. Stewart, comma, space, first initial, period, comma, space. Is it Smith? Smith, Arnold, Anna, whatever, period, comma, and, because we have 3, right? I like apples, comma, oranges, comma, and bananas. Smith, periods, Smith, and Jones. First initial, period. Gomez, whatever. So, this is 3. What if I have 2 authors? Smith, Stewart, B, period, comma, and, no comma, after period. And Jones. It's like I like apples and bananas, I don't need a comma. Okay, so be careful. We have one author, two authors, and then a series of authors, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Be careful with the commas. We use the commas for the serial, 3 or more authors. With one author, we don't use these commas here. We always use this comma to divide the last name and the first initial. See? So we have our 3 authors in this case. You see?
El año.
Alright? So, space, friend, so parentheses, the year, period. Spaces matter. Be careful. Look, there's a space here, there's a space here, there's a space here, space here. Right? Be careful with the spacing. Space here. There's going to be another space here. You see, title. Title of the article. The title of the article comes next. It's easy. Name of the journal. So we have title of the article, period, space, the name of the journal. Name of the journal, comma. Now, I'm going to write out the word volume number, okay? It's going to be a number, not the word volume number. It's going to be the number, the volume number. So, every journal, ELT journal, after the journal? Nothing right now. So. Alright, the volume number. Okay, volume number, and then in parentheses, issue number. I'm putting the words here so that you know what the numbers are, but we're not going to put the words this here. It's going to be like that. Volume number, issue number. The name of the journal, space, some number, which is the journal number, and then parentheses, an issue number. So issue number, comma, pages of the article. Something like this. Volume number, name of the journal, volume number, issue number, the pages, the first to the last page of the article, the whole article, the page range. So usually articles are more than one page, you're going to have the range. These are the pages of the article. So let's do it one together. I don't know why I can't access. A ver. So let's do an example. One together here. University library is not playing nice today, so let's take a look at another source. All right, what's the topic, guys, that you guys are considering? Any topic? Leisure and
Learning.
Now, you might have to be more specific, well, maybe not, but you might choose to be a little bit more specific. Let's see here. So, leisure and reading, from leisure, let's see, adult learning, to increase adult learning. The need for programs. All right, so let's take a look at this bad boy. No, let's take a look at that one here. Okay, all the information. Let's see. Look up. Well, all right. So here is a journal, an academic article that comes from a journal. So let's do this one together. We're going to create a reference. Now remember, we're only talking about references here. Okay, so let's do this one together. We're going to create a reference for this particular article. All right, so what's going to come first? Let me blow this up a little bit. I think almost all the information we hear is right here. So what do you think? What's going to come first? Can I erase this? What comes first? In this case? Let's assume that the author, the order goes Meisner, Daugherty, and Kurt Ham. Okay? We need to better that is presented in the article. Okay, so it needs to be the following order. So what's first?
Listener.
Meisner. Meisner? Comma?
Okay.
Okay. Comma. Why a comma?
There are more hours.
Because there are what?
More hours.
Specifically?